Talk Your Talk. We're back again, and it's a beautiful Tuesday. And I'm chilling here with Dr Dagada. Why do you keep on saying not yet?
I'm not yet a doctor. Time will come where I'll be declared as a doctor. I'm not yet a doctor.
Oh, I'm ordaining you. Is the right word? I'm ordaining her. She's a doctor. What Dr Dagada? You know? To be.
Yeah, to be.
And I think this is gonna be our first episode on this one. Today we're gonna be talking about. She's a psychologist, yeah.
Not a psychologist.
I'm not doing justice. Maybe she needs to do an intro for herself.
Well, I'm a social worker by profession, registered with the Social Work Council, but I do have an honors in psychology, and hopefully I'll be doing my master's next year, by the grace of the Lord, my master's in psychology. So yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah, Mrs. Daga, tell us more about you. Like, what made you want to study psychology? I mean, you could have done, a lot of things, but you chose psychology.
Well, I have to say that psychology was and has always been my first love, but somehow I applied for psychology and social work, and I was accepted in social work. So I decided to do social work and majored in psychology and social work. That's how now I managed to do my honors in psychology. So yeah, what motivated me to want to do psychology? I don't know. So when something is a calling, it's a calling. Because I even tried to divert in. Before I even started or applied for social work and psychology, I studied computer science. And
Really?
yes. Yeah, and somewhere along the lines, I just felt that this is not me.
Yeah.
This is totally not me. So I decided, you know what, let me drop out. I dropped out after 2 years of doing computer science.
But you still know how to program, right?
I know the language.
I
know the C++
you can hack in
language.
you can do hacking
No, that's when I realized that, you know what, the C++ language and whatnot, programming, I did try, but then it was not my thing. So hence here I am now, practicing as a counselor or a therapist. And I have to say that it has been a journey, and I feel more fulfilled now that I'm practicing in counseling and therapy than I would feel anywhere else.
I'm not sure if it's the psychology that changed you, right? I mean, we come from the same hood, and there were around 2015. Yeah, we used to hang around together. But you were all reserved. But funny enough, like every time she's just talkative. So I'm just curious: is this the psychology part, or you reserved because you're studying, computer science?
No, basically, I used to be very reserved and very shy. And at some point, I even got worried that how am I going to counsel someone if I'm shy or I'm scared of looking someone in the eye and whatnot. But fortunately, I don't know what happened. The moment I started practicing as a social work, I started breaking out of my shell. I started being more open to learning, being more open to exploring, because my profession needs someone who's not scared of saying things as they are, but then you just need to be able to say it in a more respectful manner, or in a manner that is it's in simple terms in order for your client to understand. So I guess my profession grouped me, it changed me. I don't understand myself sometimes, because I used to be so shy, so reserved. I was stuck up in my own shell, but I feel that the fact that I've managed to break through out of that shell shows that it simply shows that this is who I was born to be. This is my purpose in a way. Because if this wasn't for me, then obviously I wouldn't have stuck up and whatnot. People still say that I'm still stuck up, but then in most cases where I feel that I'm stuck up is that I'm still learning someone's character, because I cannot just get to a place and it's new people and whatnot, and then I just get there and I'm all over everyone. I get there, I greet, I relax, and then as people are busy conversing, that's when I'm getting their characters. That okay, when you interact with this one, this is how you interact with this person, and then with this one, this is how you interact with this person. So basically, I cannot say that I'm stuck up, but then, and I cannot say that I'm applying psychology wherever I go, but it's basically who I am. So yeah.
So, for people who don't know psychology, what is psychology?
Wow, psychology. I cannot really
Because
say what psychology is. Okay,
okay, maybe let me put it in this sense. What do you guys do when a person actually, I'm a psychologist or a social worker? Because for us, normal, I think black people, we just assume or about a psychology, or I need to visit a psychology. Because I'm crazy, you know. So
Yeah.
what is a psychology? What, as a social worker, what do you guys do?
Okay, let me start with the social worker. A social worker is basically an umbrella of a whole lot of things. When we say a social worker, we're speaking of an advocate. We're speaking of someone who, what's this? I forgot the word. But then basically a social worker is someone who carries a whole lot of umbrellas, right? The umbrellas, that means that if there's child abuse in taking place in a place, I become the advocate of the child, where I have to rescue the child from the abuse in some way, somehow, right? And then if let's say you come to me, you have this certain of this problem, it could be physically or anything. I have to broker you to someone who deals with that. So we can say that a social worker is also a broker in a way. I connect people with certain services that they want, that they are not aware of. A social worker is, guys, a social worker does a whole lot of things. In court, we write reports regarding kids or victims and whatnot. We help people who are less fortunate, people vulnerable, elders, children, people with disabilities. We basically do all those things and much more. Just that I'll just talk about the few things. So basically, that's what a social worker does. We don't.
Diagnose.
Yeah. No, we do not. We do not diagnose.
No, I'm just double checking.
Yeah, we do not diagnose, because yeah, let me just end it. We do not diagnose, but we mostly help the vulnerable people. We offer services to people who are vulnerable. We are the voice of the voiceless in a way. We are just there to pick up someone, to help someone, to assist someone to look at the bigger picture. Someone who just found out about a certain sickness that they're not even sure of. We help them understand it in simple terms. We mediate in families, we bring families together. We do a whole lot of things. Hence, I said that social work is more like an umbrella of a whole lot of professions in one. We are teachers in a way. You come to me, you don't know much about something, I educate you on that issue. So yeah, and a psychologists diagnose. They can write prescriptions, a clinical psychologist, rather, let me say that. And me, I do not practice as a clinical psychologist because I'm not yet a clinical psychologist. But basically, how do I become a psychology counselor? Basically, all I do is offer counseling therapy, mostly with behavior, what's this? Cognitive therapy on behavior. What we do is offer therapy on that, and then we offer therapy on a whole lot of things. Therapy more so using different techniques, which can be art therapy, cognitive therapy, psychoeducation therapy, and psychosocial, a whole lot of things. We get to use different techniques, but it has And no, a person that comes to my office is not someone that is mad, but then it's basically someone who's going through life challenges, and it has now started to affect them in a mental way, where they are experiencing anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and they're struggling to cope with their everyday life and whatnot. So basically, that's what I do then.
So I'm gonna ask you this, right? I think you're gonna help me answer this. Today is we see a lot of marriage breaking down, right? Do you think it's a situation where we never went for marriage counseling, or how important do you think marriage counseling is in a relationship?
Okay, I cannot say that marriages are breaking down or people are separating due to the fact that they did not go for um, marriage counseling, because some that did went for marriage counseling, they are still breaking up because it did not work for them. So
Well, wasn't
basically,
it because it didn't start early? Like from I believe, in my understanding,
yes.
in order for it to work, if we were to start off, let's say, with dating, right? From the word the time that we say we're dating, that's when we start that whole period of relationship counseling to marriage counseling, right?
I cannot say this. The reason I'm saying this is because not everyone believes in counseling, right?
True.
And you cannot just say now because you've met someone, you guys up and go for counseling, because counseling is much more than just saying we came as a couple for counseling. The question I would usually ask the two people is, have you dealt with yourself? Have you yourself received counseling for yourself? Because you cannot want to receive counseling for something that brings two different people together, where else you haven't dealt with your childhood trauma or whatever issues that you had before you came into this relationship, right? So if you cannot just say, yeah, we came as a couple, we want counseling. Counseling over what? Have you dealt with your individual issues? Because I believe that in order for two people to say that we are going for relationship counseling or marriage counseling, they should be ready to bear most of their, they should be ready to get naked in a way. That by naked I don't mean physically, but emotionally they should be ready to be vulnerable. If maybe let's say one partner has suffered from, has been raped in the as a
Previous
child
year,
or
yeah.
in the previous years, and they haven't opened it up to their partner, chances are that this topic might rock up while we're dealing with the relationship. My question would be, are you ready as a lady to get that naked and deep with your partner being there? Are you ready to get counseling or therapy with your partner being there on something that you were not ready to deal with?
So as I can say, maybe you agreeing with me, right? Or we need to go for counseling.
As individuals.
Okay, as individuals.
Before
So it means
as
as every one of us, each and every one of us, we somehow we suffer traumas, right? So we take them through our daily lives or into every relationship, including friends, work, and relationship.
Not
Our previous traumas.
not every, I cannot say everyone, because how we take something differ. How I take something is not the same way as you take something. How I take certain traumas or how I see certain things as childhood traumas is not the same way that you would see it or as childhood trauma, or it's not going to affect us in the same manner. So I cannot say that we take we take our childhood traumas or our past traumas and put them in a new relationship, because um, people can heal without going to a counselor. It all
Ah,
it
come
all
on. I think.
can I just
Okay.
it all stems from what are your morals, besides what the society society
What he
says.
says, yeah.
What are your values? You as a person, not what daddy says, not what mommy says, or friends, or whosoever is around you. What have you told yourself as a person? What is it that you live by? Your own values, your own morals. What are they saying to you? How do they move you as a person, right? Because there are people who went through very difficult ordeals or rather traumatic things, but they did not allow that situation or that ordeal to dictate their lives. They took charge of their lives than allowing that ordeal to take charge of their lives. Hence, I'm saying that there are people who manage to get over certain situations without having to go for therapy.
I always say everyone has demons, right? But it just takes something to trigger the demons. So, would it be right for me to say the demons are the traumas that they experience?
I don't know.
Until
no. It has been diagnosed.
No. If let's say
Okay.
I grew up being abused, right, or seeing my mom being abused, right? You find, well, I'm still a nice guy, chill, down to earth, you know. And then along the line, maybe 20 years, I've heard this. I've never talked about it, you know, and I've been living, you know,
Yeah.
maybe 50 after 25 years, and I see it happening, and I charged. You know, maybe I see someone abusing another woman, and I find myself beating that person to death, right? Wouldn't you say, and me doing that, ne? Mind you, let's say, even when someone provoked me, I wouldn't even react.
Yes.
But just the fact that I saw that made me react because of the previous. Wouldn't you say, as the demon that I've been keeping to myself, it's something that I didn't want to talk about it?
First
And
of
and,
all,
and, and, and I had thought I diagnosed, like, I wanted to get to that part. Not everyone needs counseling, right?
yes.
And maybe I had thought I've diagnosed this thing. I dealt with it. I kept it inside me.
Basically, what happened in that situation is that you were triggered.
Yeah.
Okay, you having to see someone being beaten up, it triggered you, and now you feel that I failed to protect my mother. Let me protect this lady.
Yeah.
Right, and then I wouldn't refer it as a demon per se, but
You
then
refer it as a term.
yeah, it is some sort of trauma, but then just the fact that, remember, triggers are something that they usually happen. It's how we respond to them that helps us deal with them, with the situation, or rather, it's if something triggers me of an ordeal that once happened to me, it's how I respond to it that matters. It's not how you have kept it inside of you, but it's how you respond to it. The fact that you responded in that manner where you ended up beating that person, you were basically portraying, or rather doing what you felt that you should have done, you should have protected your mother the same way. You understand?
Yeah.
So I cannot say that thing had been ruling you throughout, but then it took just that one trigger for you to be triggered in that sense.
It's the demon.
I cannot say demon. I'm not an exorcist, so it's not a demon to me.
Yeah.
It's a mental state
Yeah.
that, yeah, it's a mental state that took a trigger for you to respond in a certain manner.
When you said a mental state, you just reminded me of something. What's this thing that I keep on hearing? Temporary insanity. It's like I'm crazy for a moment, or and I just like.
Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, so let's leave some questions for the psychiatrist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like as I was saying, I see most relationships. For me, my understanding, they failing. Like what you say, people didn't deal with those things. those traumas that you're talking about. And hence I'm saying, for me, you find it's a situation where you guys both love each other, but because the next person is not even naked, you might do something, and let's say she's like she said she's been raped, touch her in the same way, in a certain way, and you find out she just, you know, and sometimes you find out she just doesn't want you near, and that could be the result of, you know. Hence, I'm saying, for me, I feel most of couples of today, we should go through that. We should be able to know our partners, what we're dealing with, like, because if knowing knowing the background and or the inner self, right? I feel for me would make it a good relationship for it.
Well, what can I say on that issue? People get into relationships for different reasons, right?
Also,
And
influenced by the trauma.
no, we cannot. Okay, let me try not to base relationships on what the kind of relationships that we get into, that they are influenced by certain traumas that we went through. Right? Okay, having to get naked with someone does not basically mean that you guys have been dating for 5 months now. Now I'm forced to get naked with you. Like I'm forced to be vulnerable with you. I need to be ready mentally, because having to explain something to someone simply means that, are you ready? Me, myself, who went through the trauma, am I ready to relive the trauma? Okay, so it's not about pushing for someone to be ready, but then I feel that if people are in a relationship, we have all been through certain things.
Yeah.
From previous relationship, from childhood,
Would.
from friendship, from wherever, right? So we need to be patient with each other. And if it comes to a point where
We need to. We need to.
be patient with each other.
Thank you.
Yes. Don't just go into the relationship with the thought that, I know sometimes there's a, what's this thing? There's a hormone we release when we're excited. I forgot the name, but then it is there. Sometimes it takes over our minds, our body, our emotions, and everything in such a way that we want to rush everything. Like, we started dating a week ago, now we feel that we should already be up there, where we are getting naked, being vulnerable and whatnot with each other. We need to learn to take it one step at a time and keep in mind that we have went through different things as we were dating, from previous relationships, from just seeing other people's relationship, because someone's trauma can also be my trauma just because I witnessed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can also play a role in my relationship in a sense, right? So it's hence I'm saying that it's very much important that when you get into a relationship, be patient with each other, communicate. When I say communicate, I'm not necessarily meaning that be vulnerable like immediately, but get to know each other. Do things that will make you guys feel as if, like, be friends first before you are lovers, because once you get comfortable with each other, it makes it easier for someone who hasn't dealt with certain trauma to trust you enough to say that this is my partner, this is someone that I feel I can be vulnerable with, this is someone that I can open up to, and tomorrow he or she is not going to turn around and use that ordeal against me. Because remember, when you trust someone with something deep or with something traumatic that you went through, it simply means that you are trusting that tomorrow they're not going to use it against you, they're not going to tell somebody else, they're not going to do things or rather remind you about that ordeal whenever they get a chance, or when they're angry, they're not going to shout at you while using that thing against you. So hence I'm saying that patience.
And I'm sure audience are surprised why I'm laughing. Yeah, earlier on we had a mini discussion, and I said we need to be patient, but she was disagreeing. I'm just glad she brought it up right now.
No, the reason I disagree is that I disagreed with what you said is that you said that when a man leaves his mother's home or his parents' home, and a woman leaves his parents' home, they come together, and basically that man is a child to me.
Yes.
I disagreed with that. Reason being is that we are both equals. We are partners, right? The moment I start mothering someone I refer to as my husband or partner, it means that I become less of a partner and more of a mother to that person. And if I become more of a mother, not only will it mean, you know how mothers are. Mothers are always shouting. They're always reprimanding.
But that's how women are. But that's how women are.
Not all women. Hence, I'm saying it's because.
No, but that's
it's because I feel that it's because most of them have been given, or what's expected from them is for them to be mothers to their partners. I personally would never refer to my partner as my firstborn. He is not my firstborn.
I'm not saying you. I didn't say you must
Basically,
say it and say he's my firstborn.
Wait,
I said,
basically, if you expect me to mother that person, then it simply means that he's my firstborn.
But I'm not saying you must say he's my firstborn. I'm saying
that's what it is.
No.
Basically.
But they said I'm saying it in a sense. I think that's why they say it already. A man will leave his.
Yes.
You know.
His parents'
His
house, and the woman will leave his parents' house for them to become one, right? Yes. And when they become one, the Bible also says that the man should love the wife as Jesus loved the church, right? And the woman should submit to the husband.
No.
Can I continue?
That I understand.
Yes.
But we know already. Hence, the Lord has blessed you with like, in the way you ladies are strong. You can cook, clean, and do everything.
So can men.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying men cannot. Mm-hmm. But you build in a way that you can still do all those things and still take care of me in terms of if I'm sick. That's men cannot take care of their kids very well. I know there's men who can do it, more than the mother can. You understand? So, and I think that's why we came out from women. So that whole thing for us makes it like, how can I put it? Even a son is the closest to the mother. Okay. You know?
I'm not saying saying that I agree, but I'm saying
but it's true. You know,
a
son is closer to the mother. You know, hence that whole mothering thing, we can say it comes a long way. A woman can. There's also this surety. I'm married to a mama's boy. It's difficult to say I'm married to a daddy's little girl. You understand? It's always mama. It's always most of the time it's mama's boy. You know, because what, we're closer to what, to being nurtured and all those things. So as you, my wife, when you come in, you need to continue with those things. Men are people. Men are they want to more about peace. Hence, certain things, like when we say women are always shouting, go fix the globe. Go fix the globe. The light bulb. I know I will, but my time.
And we have to stay in the dark.
I'm going. It might be 5 minutes from now or 2 minutes. I'm still watching something. Okay. You know. I'm still watching something. So I don't. While I'm still watching that thing, I'm waiting for it to finish so that I go fix what I'm fixing.
Okay, I'm cooking. The kitchen light bulb goes off. Mm-hmm. I have to wait for you to go to finish watching what you're watching.
But you've been used to cook in the dark. It's not like
since when? Since when?
Okay, but no, I feel like there's certain things that women just like poking.
Okay, I feel like we diverted from one topic to another. Let's talk about the topic where women are expected to mother men. can I just explain why I feel that it's wrong? Let me rather say this. Society is ruining most marriages because
How
of the
so?
expectations that they expect from women.
And
Okay?
what about the expectation they expect from men?
Men, fine. We were still talking about men,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
What for it's what a man needs to do is to love, and a woman needs to love and provide.
Yeah.
A woman needs to nurture and
But provide does not mean buying Gucci, right?
No, we're not talking about Gucci here. That's just luxury.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I just
So
wanted to make to clear
if
it.
if the man who I'm supposed to submit, I cannot submit to someone I take as a child. Get that?
Be fair.
Right? The moment I start seeing my husband as my firstborn, or rather as a child that I need to nurture the same way that I would nurture my kids, then it means that even our bedroom life will be affected.
No,
Because
it's because now you take
yes,
you,
because
you,
I've been given now, because my husband left his mother's house, I am now supposed to be his mother. No, we came into the relationship to be partners,
True.
not for me to be some. Yes, I will nurture, I will take care of everyone in the house, but it does not mean that I have to do everything. Hence, I'm saying that society is ruining most marriages because society simply says that expect us women to take care of everyone and let ourselves go, and we end up letting ourselves go because by the time we're done with taking care of everyone, we don't have time to take care of ourselves. We are tired. We just want to sleep. And in the bedroom, you expect me to have the energy, where else the whole day I'm from work, I'm back at home, I have to teach the kids homework, I have to cook while you sit and watch TV. In the bedroom, you still expect me to
But
perform.
isn't that the strength? I get what men are given, especially when we refer it into muscles. Men are much stronger than women, right? It's what they say.
That's just the masculine kind of thing. It has
No,
nothing to
no.
do
I'm
with
getting there.
anything.
I'm getting there.
Yes.
Or don't you think men were given that touch, to be strong and that for their muscle, and women were given that strongness to do all those kind of things and to take care of the family in that
Yes,
kind of way,
but
as to mother the
to
family.
nature, yes, it is in our nature to
Nature.
nature,
Yeah, you've been
right?
blessed
But
to nature.
it does not mean, okay, we had kids as partners. It does not mean that everything that needs to be done around the kids is my duty. If we are both going to wake up in the morning and go to work, to our respective workplaces, the kids needs to go to school, right? They need to be bathed in the morning. They need to be clothed. They need food. Let's try and divide the chores. In that way, even when you want me in the bedroom, I would be as active as you expect me to be. In that way, when it's time for us to date, because if I'm always tired, I won't have time to date you. I won't have time for family activities. I won't have time and energy for a whole lot of things. Hence, it is important that when you get into a marriage or a union, don't let society have more say in your union than what you two as individual feel. This is the way we should handle our household. Because if society has more say in your union, then you guys are married and you are binded by society and not by what you have built your union, and not by the values and morals you have built your union on. A marriage consists of two people, not the
Do I agree?
society, not my parents, not your parents, not my friends, not your friends, nobody but us, right? And we, as partners, we know what works for us. I know your weaknesses, you know my weaknesses. That's how we come up with chores. That's how we come up with values. That's how we come up with morals. We do what works for us as a couple or as a union than what works for the next person.
But I've always seen women are always the ones saying, no, he needs to help out in the house, you need to help in the house. But I've never hear women say, okay, if it's 50-50, if I'm washing the dishes, Lina, I'm gonna do the garden.
I never said anything about 50-50.
No.
And
No,
wait, I cannot speak for other women.
You said, remember, you said
We are equals.
we are equal. The man needs to cook and
If I'm sick, who's gonna cook?
yeah, that's when you're sick.
No, you don't have to cook only when I'm sick.
But
when I come back home tired and you're not tired,
but it's the
who's
same thing
supposed
as
to-
as
and
I'm
who
saying.
is instilling those laws in our house?
Who's
The
gonna
society.
who's going to do the garden and
Do you
everything?
do the garden every day? No, cooking is an everyday kind of thing, right? And basically, let's
It's not an everyday kind of
you
thing.
see the yeah.
Rawa
Those are
Mirata, so it's not an every cooking is not an everyday thing.
as much as cooking is not an everyday thing. Hence, I'm saying don't let what you learned outside in the society govern your household.
I'm not,
That's why I'm emphasizing on the part where I'm saying that it's important for you guys to come together, sit down, have a meeting as a couple. Before you even get married, get to know that, you know what, my partner has a weakness on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My partner has a weakness on 1, 2, 3. His strength, he has strength at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Sit down, talk, communicate on how you would want to run your household. Let's not be talking about how Raulu Angamiradza. Yes, that's now you basically right now bringing into your relationship what society says,
it's not what
or
society,
rather
but
what
it's
you grew up with. What you grew up with is not what I grew up with.
true.
You see, so
True.
hence I'm saying that communication in a relationship is
But-
very much important.
But it sounds as if it's not the way women want it, then it shouldn't be like that.
I
Because
cannot-
because
women-
also if you're talking about society, right?
Yes.
On social media, right? This kind of topic has always been brought up.
Yes.
Men have raised like different stories, but with women, it's always the same thing. I cannot come, clean, wash the dishes, blah 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 blah.
What does that scream to you?
Yeah.
We are. They're basically saying that I am tired to be doing everything alone.
But it's not like we're not doing anything.
Okay, let's not include gardening at this point, right? Because you as a man, most men from what I've seen, as much as batho ba tshiri ba ruanga miradza, ha ko bika meya ba ba na mukala wa right? Mukala wa aba right, no aruanga miradza. Okay?
Yeah.
But now you as a person doesn't mean that you will be okay in go lamrad.
If I'm saying the wrong amount, it means I'm okay with it.
And what if we don't have leftovers? Basically, we're not gonna cook a whole lot of food, and the next thing we can't be eating the same thing every day. Kids get bored over food, right?
Come
And
on,
then
they can't. How do they get bored? They're not the one purchasing the food,
Okay, I know personally that.
but they're not buying the food. How do they get bored?
Kids are kids. They the same way that they were
Mara-
not asked to be gone. You still need to cater for
When
their
you were
needs.
growing, were you given an option?
Of what?
Or,
Of what I want to eat.
yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Yes.
I
You
cannot
see?
say I was, but sometimes they would ask me, "Ish, what can we eat?" And I
Yes.
give in my 2
What
cents,
can
right?
so
But
that your kids? I feel like it's just an escape
it's
route
not
that
an escape.
women trying to
You
use.
know why women are complaining? It's because they are tired. As women, we are expected to not get tired. And that's what our parents or our forefathers were used to because they didn't have to go to work.
Then
They were
I think
home full-time.
if it's like that, if we were to have this whole thing you're pricing, then they shouldn't tell me for the lavola to then big every day. They shouldn't even bring it up. Because basically they're saying that, well, okay, it's not like we're purchasing you, but they're saying I must pay room to then be here every day.
Do they actually say that?
Yeah, well, then you be here.
Do they actually say that?
Yeah, they do.
Wow, that's the first I'm hearing about it. But then it goes back to me saying that let's not allow...
And in today's world, you can't say you're always tired because we have helpers. Most of the houses have helpers. So what are you tired from?
What about those that they cannot afford helpers?
Now I'm speaking most of
Well, okay, let's not generalize things in a privileged manner only.
Yeah.
Let's talk in general. Some people are not privileged enough to a point where they can afford helpers. And some people are working jobs where they need to be on their feet from 6 to 6. And
True.
they still come back home, they're expected to do their wifely duties. Who came up with those duties?
It is the culture back in the days.
Hence, I'm saying let's not allow society to
But
make the rules in our house.
but society was it's like a guide on how you need to grow. Otherwise,
it's a guide, but then it's
and
not
and
a
you
manual.
and you must remember why it was introduced, right? When that
Who introduced it?
when in the early 80s or 90s.
Who? It was a person, right? Was that person living in this generation that we are living in now, where
not sure
women
if-
have to go to work, women have to do 1, 2, 3, women have to do certain things and whatnot? Was that person living in this generation?
But no, it's a society in this sense, ne? For me, I feel like back in the days when this whole thing changed, when people say they want 50-50, women must start work. Back in the days, men used to go to the work. Women used to stay home, right? And while they were staying home, it was meant or women can bond with the kids, get to, when I come home, everything is finished. Then now women said, no, we also want to go to work. We want to.
And women, don't you think that they were tired of being oppressed in that sense?
I don't think for me, I feel like it was not being oppressed.
They needed to stand on their own.
No,
Because
it's
from
just-
what I've seen from women in the olden days, most of them didn't have a say in their union because what a man says goes, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that when women decided that we need to stand up and work, they basically needed a voice in a relationship or their marriage, okay? And times have evolved. Times are changing. Things are evolving, right? So we cannot compare things that are happening now to things that used to happen back in the days. Basically because
I feel like
most things, we didn't have technology back in the days. We didn't have a whole lot of things. We didn't have things that are affecting us in any way. Or
That's why we as especially black people we become so uncultured because of situations like that.
I feel like now we are diverting to a whole lot of things. And we cannot cover everything because we cannot talk about a topic and leave it hanging and then move to the next and leave it hanging. So basically what I've been trying to say, since we are talking about mental health, I focus on mental health.
I like
and
that.
the importance of good mental
Mental
health
health, yeah.
in relationships, right? Hence I'm saying that have you as men asked yourself, why are women complaining a lot lately? Have you sat down and think, oh, you know what? Here's my wife. We just got back from work now. She's been standing from 6 to 6. Now she's cooking for me. On the side, she's busy bathing the kids. She has to teach them homework. She has to feed them, and I'm sitting down watching TV.
Okay,
And when we go to the room, I expect her to be.
No, I think maybe the thing women don't understand. They just feel like when we say we tired or when men say they're tired, you just feel like we're just being lazy. But for us, it's our brains are always working.
Everybody's brain
No,
is
no.
always working.
Like for instance, let me put it in this way. I'm always as a man trying to figure out how the bills will be paid.
The wife is working. She also figures that out.
Come on, in today's world, women.
She chips in something. Hence, I'm saying communication. Okay, let me make this
But
simple,
but
right?
everything in the house attached to the
Communication.
no. As much as it's communication, everything in the house, a man needs to provide. A man
In
needs
whose
to do.
house?
And in our house,
In whose house? Your house or everyone else's house?
no, our house,
Your house.
our house,
In your house.
in our house.
No, I want to understand. In your house.
No, but
Is it in your house? Is that how
okay.
it
I don't
is?
have a house. I don't have a house.
Exactly.
But
So,
but
don't say-
but
Don't.
it's like that.
It's not like that.
So you
There are couples who who are working, when they come together, they know each other's salary. They
Yeah.
come together when they get paid, or they come together before month end if they get paid month end, and they say that your money is going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Your money is going. That's
That
a healthy relationship that has communication in it, not a relationship. Right now, we are talking about what makes a relationship stick or to be non-stick, right? So we cannot just assume that in other people's house, because we don't know all the full details. You cannot just say in someone's house just because maybe your friend told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That friend didn't let you in all the details. Okay, so hence I'm saying that it's important that men ask themselves. There are men who they know that when we knock off from work with my wife, I'm going to be helping the kids with homeworks and bath them. And then my wife will be cooking. If my wife doesn't feel like cooking, she's gonna bath the kids, help them with homeworks while I cook. That's where that's the importance of communication and in a relationship or in marriage. Understand your partner. This also comes the term understanding your partner's love language. This is the part where it comes in, right? And you cannot just establish these things now that you are married. These are the things that when you get into a relationship with someone, these are the kind of questions that you should get to know, get to understand that person. That once I get married with this person, how are we going to run things? Once we have kids, how are we going to run things? You plan ahead and come up with rules for your household. Not what my friend does, not what my dad or mother did in their own, but if it was a good thing that they did there and you think that it's going to help you or your relationship, you can just chip in and say that this is, you remember, when two people come together to say that we're in a relationship, there are two people that grew up in different households, right?
True.
Your family values were not the same as your partner's family values. So when we come together, we are actually bringing in different family values into one place, right? And we need to decide what works for us as a couple, not what worked for our parents, right? Because if we manage to communicate about certain things that can make our family or our relationship a better one, then it means that we will be open to communicating about almost everything in our relationship. When we have kids, we already know, oh, okay, we discussed then that we're not going to have a baby shower. We're just going to start saving up. If we discussed then before we even had kids, before we even got married, we planned everything. You plan ahead that when you meet this challenge, how do we go about it? If you guys don't communicate or you are not open with each other, or someone is more superior than the other person, even before you get married, when you get married, it's gonna get worse. Marriage doesn't fix what's broken.
But you know what I like? Since we started talking, as much as we might be going around, we came back to that thing. Therapy is important. It's like visiting therapy is important. So you agreed with me.
It
As
is important, yes.
as couples, we need to visit thing, a psychology for a relationship to work.
Not you. No.
No, no. You know why I'm saying that?
Yes.
Because this is exactly what you're saying. This is why people need to see a psychologist. Most of the people don't understand. Okay, we need to come together. We need to,
Yes.
and this is how you build a relationship. Most of the people know of relationship through social media, and like how it has taken,
Yeah.
thing in today's world. Or this is how a relationship needs to be. Hey, a man must do 1, 2, 3. A woman must do 1, 2, 3. Secondly, is also men. We as men we need to sit down and think about us and evaluate this whole thing
Yes.
as a whole.
Yeah.
So you agree with me?
I agree with certain parts. There are people who are already good with communicating in how they established that is basically how the foundation of their relationship started. A relationship that started in lies will definitely, it's obvious that the foundation of the relationship is nothing positive, but something negative. But if you start in a relationship with positive foundation, obviously going up, building up, it's gonna be influenced by positivity and less by negativity, right? So such couples, I cannot say that it's necessary for them to come for therapy, but unless if they feel that they need assistance in navigating through certain channels of their relationship, then that's when I can say that, you know what, let's say for example, they started their relationship on good foundation and whatnot, and as they're learning each other, one discovers that one doesn't want to have kids at all, and one wants to have kids, right? This is the part where I can say that they can come in for therapy, not for me to persuade the other one who doesn't want to have kids to have kids, but to try and get the other one understand that this person doesn't want to have kids because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And rather, you guys need to come to an understanding. Are you still going to pursue your relationship, or you guys would rather let it go now before you even get to a marriage state? Because once people get married, it becomes more difficult for people to live an environment that's health, mentally health hazard to them in a sense. Okay, so it's basically helping people navigate through certain things that it is difficult for them to navigate through. Like, for an example, let's say there's a relationship and the husband is abusive, right? When you come to my office, I'm not going to say to the lady, leave this man. Okay?
Because you're afraid she'll go back and say.
No, not because I'm afraid she'll go back and say. It's not my duty to tell you to leave the person, right? What I would do is try to work with you guys, try to change the behavior, what find out the triggers of the man, like when he hits you, what triggers him the most. Work with your husband individually while working with him and you together. Actually work with the husband individually and you as the wife individually to deal with the trauma you have suffered, right? And work with the husband individually to help him let go of this certain behavior, to help him in how we can control his temper, to help him in how we can take charge of the triggers instead of the triggers taking charge of him and he ends up beating the wife. And then from there, once I work with them individually, that's when the couples therapy comes in, because I've dealt with the individual parts of their relationships, what the triggers of the husband, or what led him to end up beating the wife, childhood trauma whatsoever, and then the effects of the abuse it had on the wife. And now we are working together to rebuild the trust in the relationship. If they still want to continue with them, they will take the decisions, and I will help them navigate through the decisions.
So basically, what psychologists and social workers do is to try and make us see things in the other end, but they don't make decisions for us.
We do not make decisions for you. We basically help you see things in a more broader picture, or as an outside. Like, we help you leave your situation and look at it as an outsider. Because remember, when you are in a relationship, you are more invested emotionally and mentally, so you won't be able to see certain things with an open mind, but rather with the fact that I love this person, I cannot do this to this person, I cannot do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we educate you on everything that you're going through. We help you when you sit on this couch and you start talking about your relationship and whatnot. I'm busy noting certain things about you guys that you actually haven't even realized, that maybe there are positive things about your relationship that you are not aware of, or the negative things, or the strength, the weaknesses, anything that can help you move past this phase or ordeal or this trauma that you have both suffered in each other's presence.
So, before we close, we're running out of time. What advice can you give to this young couple?
The advice that I would Basically, I would say that, guys, it's important to be open with your partner. It's important to make sure that you guys are on the same page, to build your relationship on good foundations, and seek counseling if need if a need arises, because there's some things that
You can't do on
need
your own.
someone who look at it in a more broader manner than just saying that this is some okay than saying that we are seeking help from family, because we know family sometimes can be biased, and once you still seek help from someone who's biased, then basically that means that the advice or the assistance they're going to give to you is going to be biased. So at least when you seek help from a counselor or a therapist, that person is not biased in any sense. That person is there to help you build in an environment, in a healthy environment, either physically, mentally, or psychologically, or spiritually, in a sense. And also, I'd say that honesty is the key, and respect goes a long way in relationships. And don't try to bring in what other people believe in their relationship into your relationship.
You heard that.
Because
Underline that one. Underline that.
because
Me, they fat.
yes, and social media is ruining relationships. The moment we start seeing that whosoever took the wife and the husband to Dubai or wherever, when your partner does something little, or when your partner takes you to let's say
Tawanimo.
Tabanimo or Villa Villa, you fail to appreciate the little he's doing, because you are now comparing to what the other
Others
couple did.
did, yeah.
So that leaves you in a space where you stop enjoying your relationship,
Yep.
and you start wanting other people's relationships where you don't even know what goes on behind closed doors. So appreciate what you have, appreciate what your partner can do. If you have to build him,
I second that. Thank you.
if you have to build each other in order for you guys to at some point be able to afford the trip to Dubai, do it together. Don't just expect your partner to be able to do certain things when you know exactly that he can only do so much. He comes back with a lollipop, or she comes back with a lollipop. Appreciate it. That's what they can afford at that moment. Stop comparing your relationships.
Yeah, Mrs. Dagada. If someone wants to, if a couple is going through something and they want to visit you, where can they find you?
Well, I'm based at Toyando, Dr. Magwenchu's surgery, just opposite Caltex, or opposite Toyando High School. And yeah, and my phone numbers are 076 7937 515.
So you also do counseling through the phone.
Yes, I do online counseling as well.
Instagram, Facebook, for
No.
because I've seen I think I'm asking because I've seen some people also do counseling on through Facebook
Well, I cannot say that I do counseling.
and then they
through
just refer you.
Facebook
They just refer you after.
or anything. But I am affiliated with different companies where I offer counseling to their employees and whatnot. So yeah, but for now, I don't think that I'm at a stage where, well, I prefer counseling to be more personal than more public, because
Inbox.
yeah, because the moment it becomes public, it loses its value and the reason why we are doing this counseling. It could be on your side for your views, or it could be on my side for marketing reasons. And for me, I don't do this just for the money. I do this for the purpose and what I feel I've been called to do.
You heard that. You heard that. Yeah, man. So they can. It's either walking or calling.
Yes.
Okay.
Or even through what's this? What's this? Where we use cameras. What do you call this?
Or YouTube.
What's that? Not YouTube.
Video call.
Video calls
Oh,
and
really?
yeah. But I guess we'll be doing more of this podcast.
Most
And,
definitely.
Yeah.
Most
I
definitely.
guess that's when
I
you
think-
get to know more about the importance of therapies on different
I think
aspects of life.
next one we should tackle more about the depression. I think we should talk about depression. Yeah, man. Tune in next week. Talk your talk. Peace. We out.